The target student sample for the class that I've selected is about 15 students from Madrid, Spain, who are in middle school. They're about 13 to 14 years old, so around 8th grade, and they have been speaking English for about 3 years. There is a exchange program in their high school where they can travel to the United States, so that serves as sort of a motivator as a reason to continue learning English and really strengthen their abilities. There are also 1 or 2 students in the class who learn differently and have a learning disability, so I wanted to create a class that allowed for these students to really thrive and feel comfortable in their situation and not feel like their learning disability is holding them back in any way. The learning environment includes 15 students who will attend class in one classroom at the school. Unlike other schools which may skip from classroom to classroom, this specific class is designated specifically for English language learning. So it's filled with all kinds of realia and objects and things that can help students acquire the language. For example, there are example phrases that can help students to understand, their L1 in Spanish, and a topic or question that may help them along in class that is provided in English. These are all spread throughout the classroom so that students have an aid of what to do when they're stuck and they need help without asking the teacher and without having to say something in Spanish. We also have a flag system in place, which I will introduce in the teaching. Students are basically going to give a presentation on one of the states, and they will give one fact about the state and the state slogan. So Vermont, this is New Hampshire, Vermont is the Green Mountain State. So each student will have a 1 to 2 minute presentation, and they will present their flag, present the fact about their state, and present a slogan about the state. Then I wanted to have a more student-led class. I wanted the students to start to have a sense of independence for their own learning and get to know each other. So I wanted each student to teach the class through repetition drills how to say the state slogan. That way students are able to understand sort of my own teaching methods and get a greater appreciation for the language that they're acquiring. These flags later come into play because I've cut them out, and students who are caught by other students speaking anything but English will have to give their flag to that student. Each flag is worth 1 extra credit point, so students are really going to be motivated to continue speaking English in my class because of these flags. And it's not supposed to be super competitive, it's just a fun incentive to continue speaking in the target language. Each student will also print out, or I will print them out, lines from their presentation that I will use later in class as part of a class activity. Some of these include like the Vermont slogan, Green Mountain State, or even the Florida one, the Sunshine State. And each of the students will be grouped. I have 15 students total, so there will be a total of ideally 3 groups with 5 students each. Each student within those groups will receive a line. 1 line was presented in these presentations. I'm going to read aloud a corresponding or matching topic. So if I read aloud the Sunshine State, I want students to be able to identify which piece of paper they have, and they can have teamwork. I want them to work together. Students shouldn't have to feel left out if they don't know what's on their paper. That is what group work is for, and that also really facilitates cooperative learning, because I want these students with learning disabilities to feel included and to feel a part of this class. And so by having more independent student learning and encouraging and almost requiring this cooperation through this group activity, we're able to have students feel a little bit more included in the class, whether they have a learning disability or not. I want students to be reliant on each other and have just a better, more comfortable class. I want the affective filter to be lower, just as is mentioned in Desuggestopedia. The methods that will be used in my class include the direct method, desuggestopedia, and the audiolingual method. These particular methods I find fit really nicely with what I'm trying to accomplish in this class, and it's worth noting that while I may incorporate some of the principles of one of them, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to use their methods. So take, for example, desuggestopedia. I really like the idea that, or the principle, that we should be lowering the affective filter in the classroom so that students feel more comfortable exploring and making these mistakes that comes with language acquisition. So I know this can be especially difficult for students who learn a little different. So I wanted to make sure that students are independent and they're not looking to me all the time. I want them to be part of a group atmosphere. So if one of them needs help, I want them to learn that they should help each other, and that's going to be for the success of the class. And this just really helps to make students feel more comfortable. Through the direct method, I wanted students to use the flags so they're only speaking in the target language, which is trademark of the direct method. And I just think that's a really great incentive. I think it's a fun way to just keep kids only speaking in the target language. I also included part of the students' presentations for this class is all in English. And part of their presentation, I wanted them to talk about the slogan of the state that they've chosen. And they have to teach the class through repetition drills how to say this phrase. And that is part of the audiolingual method. I liked the audiolingual method because, well, it's audio, so you could really have the students practice what they were saying, and I wanted students to really appreciate the time and thought that goes into learning about these phrases, learning how to produce them with the proper sounds, and it gives the students a greater appreciation of these states. Because our current unit is geography, we're learning about geographic features, and this research project, having the students look up various U.S. states, was a great way to connect our unit in geography with the possible exchange program and the students' futures. So it was a great way to just really get the kids thinking about the future, about places to go, and I really liked that it came full circle. In order to address the levels within levels issues, I wanted to try something different. I know that this is probably aimed at students who may have a stronger ability within language as opposed to students who are just starting out and addressing those differences. I wanted to take it in a little bit different direction. I wanted to incorporate how we can include children with learning disabilities, which can, in a way, relate to their strengths within that language. So I found a couple sources that say you want to establish a sense of routine in the classroom. Establishing a sense of routine is really great because then the students know what is following and they can have a better sense of what is happening in the class. So the first part of my class is an introduction activity, when students will talk about a given topic that I provide for them. The one that I've included in this teaching sample is about talking about their weekend, and I just want them to talk for a couple minutes with a partner just to warm up, just some simple things, just getting the wheels turning. The second part of class is generally either me presenting material or the students presenting material, which, as you will see in this class sample, the students are presenting the material. And then the third part of class is a game, another class activity that is surrounding the material that we just learned. So since the class that we have provided is based on student presentations, the class activity is thus based on those student presentations. It really facilitates children really paying attention to what their peers are saying so that they can, in a way, do better on that class activity, which is not for extra credit. It's just a fun activity to get the kids listening and then repeating that information. Hello students, welcome to class. First, we will be discussing what you did over the weekend. So please grab a partner and discuss what you each did over the weekend and what you plan to do, if any, next weekend. Hello, what did you do over the weekend?
I was cooking with my father on Saturday.
That sounds fun. What did you make?
We made pancakes.
That sounds delicious.
They were very yummy. What did you do on the weekend?
On the weekend, I went shopping with my mom, and she bought me this banana outfit.
I love it.
It makes me really happy when I wear it.
What will you do next weekend?
Next weekend, I'm going skating with my dad.
That sounds like fun.
I'm excited. Great job talking about your weekend, students. I loved hearing what each of you did over the weekend and what you plan to do next weekend. I loved your banana outfit. I think you should continue wearing that to school. Next, we will go over our presentations. Remember, each of you has come up with a state that is part of the United States, and each of you will be trying to teach the class how to say the state slogan of the state that you have selected. First, we will start out with Maria.
Hello. I chose Vermont for my state. Vermont has mountains to ski on, and Vermont has Ben and Jerry's ice cream. It is very delicious, and I love it. Vermont is called the Green Mountain State. The green mountain state. The green mountain state. The green mountain state.
The Green Mountain State.
The green mountain state.
The Green Mountain State.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent job. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you.
Hello, class. I am Carmen, and I am presenting Florida. Florida. Florida is the Sunshine State. It grows a lot of oranges, and it is the home of Disney World.
Ooh!
The home of Mickey Mouse.
Ooh!
We are going to learn how to say the Sunshine State. The sun.
The sun.
The sun shine.
The sun shine.
The sunshine state.
The sunshine estate.
State.
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 The
sun
shine
shine
state.
state.
The sunshine state.
The sunshine state.
Very good, class. Thank you for helping me with my presentation.
Thank you, Carmen.
Great job presenting, students. Now I will hand out the flags that each of you have made alongside with your presentation. Remember that each flag is worth 1 extra credit point. And if a student catches you speaking anything but English in the classroom, you have to give your flag to that person. At the end of the school year, all flags will be counted up and extra credit will be assigned. But remember, you want to speak English as much as you can in this class, or your flag may be taken away. Alright, students, the next part of class will be our class activity. It will be based on the presentations that each of you just gave. And each of you is in a group. There are 3 groups, and each of you has 1 paper. I'm going to read aloud or show the class 1 fact, the flag, or the state slogan of one of the states that you have presented here in class today. Your job as a group is to figure out which flag, slogan or fact I am referring to and which state it is. You want to figure out the matching part and call it out before any other group does. If you are able to correctly identify the state, slogan, or flag, you will get a point for your team. Is everyone ready?
Yeah!
All right. First, we're going to start with the Green Mountain State.
Vermont!
Good job! 1 point for you guys. All right. The next part is Florida. Can someone tell me something about Florida?
Oh, the home of Disney World!
Very good. Home of Mickey Mouse. Next we have a slogan. Live free or die. It is a colder state. It is next to Vermont. And its slogan is live free or die.
Oh, New Hampshire!
Very good. Good problem solving, you guys. And our last one is this flag. Can anyone tell me what the slogan of this state is?
Oh, it's the Sunshine State.
Very good. Great job for you guys. Another point for you. All right, class, our next and final activity is going over our homework. What each of you need to prepare for next class is describe what your hometown is like. Today, we learned about fun facts and slogans about other places. If you were to describe your hometown, what are some fun things that you would describe it as?